In the quiet minutes before dawn, when the air inside Grayford Correctional Facility hung like stale breath and even the fluorescent lights flickered as if afraid to stay awake, Nurse Lillian Carter stood over the dying man she once swore she would save, her trembling hand stained with the poison that was supposed to set her free. Malik Hinton, inmate number 44291, the man whose touch had both destroyed and revived her, choked out his last breath not from violence, but from the trust he'd placed in the only woman who ever dared to love him in the shadows of concrete walls and razor wire. If anyone had walked in 5 minutes earlier, they might have witnessed a final moment of hesitation on Lillian's face, the split-second flicker of regret, before she let the syringe slip from her gloves and whispered, "You should have never threatened my baby." Because everything began long before this night, back when Lillian arrived at Grayford, a broken woman searching for purpose after an abusive marriage, carrying bruises under her uniform and secrets in her chest. Malik wasn't supposed to be part of her healing. He was a high-ranking shot caller in the Eastview Kings, a man with violent past and a reputation for bending people to his will, but he saw something in her, something he could use, something he could control, something he could twist into devotion. Their affair started with a touch, a smuggle, a promise, a forbidden hunger that neither of them dared name. In the beginning, Malik was gentle, unusually patient for a man serving 25 years for armed robbery and the beating death of a rival dealer. He told her things no inmate should have known about a nurse. Her childhood escape attempts, her religious mother who disguised punishment as discipline, the miscarriage she never told her ex-husband about. Somehow Malik always found cracks, and Lillian let him fill them. Soon she was sneaking extra blankets to his cell, then painkillers, then a burner phone she had inside her bra during nightly rounds. The danger thrilled her. The affection drowned her. And when she discovered she was pregnant, Malik swore he would protect them both, that the child would be their second chance. But man like Malik never promises without expectation. As her belly grew under the loose scrub she used to hide her shame, Malik's tone shifted. He wanted her to help him traffic contraband through the infirmary. He wanted money. He wanted favors. And when Lillian refused, for the first time he reminded her of who he really was. "You think you're the only one with something to lose?" He sneered through bars. "Don't forget who knows your secrets, who made you feel alive." She tried to break things off, but Malik sent word to the yard that he'd exposed everything. Her pregnancy, their affair, the burner phones, unless she kept doing what he asked. She knew the prison would fire her instantly, maybe even charge her. She knew the state would take her baby. And yet, something darker took root inside her. The same desperation that once kept her married to a violent man. The same survival instinct that made her swallow her cries as a child. She couldn't lose another child, another life, another chance at freedom. But Malik wasn't finished tightening the leash. One night, he slipped her a note written in tiny letters on toilet paper. "If you won't help me run things in here, then hand over the baby when it's born. I'll find someone on the outside to raise it." That was the moment Lillian realized Malik didn't love her. He owned her, or thought he did. And when a woman who had been controlled her entire life sees the last thing she loves threatened, something inside her snaps with a quiet, lethal clarity. Lillian began planning. She researched medications, toxicity levels, how long it took for certain drugs to mimic natural causes in inmates with existing health conditions. Malik had high blood pressure. He often complained of migraines. He trusted her completely. Too completely. She waited for the perfect night. Low staffing, a storm outside, a shift supervisor who liked long coffee breaks. Malik greeted her with a smirk, assuming she had finally surrendered. "I knew you'd come around," he said, leaning back on the infirmary bed. "Good girl." The phrase hit her like a slap across the face. Words her ex-husband used whenever he wanted obedience. Words Malik used whenever he wanted power. Her hands didn't shake as she prepared the syringe. "This will help with the pain," she whispered, and for a moment Malik looked genuinely relieved, soft, almost human. But pain was the least of what he deserved. The moment she injected the drug, Malik's confidence shattered. He realized too late that Lillian wasn't the fragile, fractured woman he thought she was. He grabbed her wrist, choking out fragments of threats, begging, cursing, pleading, promising. But years of fear had forged a new Lillian, one who watched with cold detachment as a man who terrorized her body and her future collapsed at her feet. When Malik died, silence swallowed the room. It wasn't triumph she felt. It wasn't peace. It was something far heavier, like she had traded one prison for another. She planted evidence suggesting an allergic reaction, wiped down surfaces, and calmly called the COs for assistance. The investigation that followed rattled Grayford to its core. Malik's gang associates suspected foul play and began threatening staff. Inmates whispered that Malik had dirt on someone high up. Supervisors questioned everyone. When they questioned Lillian, she forced her hands to stay still, her breathing to stay even, her eyes to remain glassy with full concern. For a moment, she believed she might actually get away with it, until a twist shattered her illusion. Detectives discovered phone records linking the burner phone to Lillian's address. They found letters Malik had written to her hidden in his mattress. They found security footage of Lillian entering the infirmary earlier than her shift required. And worst of all, they found a note Malik had written demanding her baby. The investigators knew there was motive. They knew there was opportunity. They just needed the final proof. And they got it. A janitor found the empty syringe behind the infirmary sink where Lillian had tried to hide it, protein residue still inside. The forensic match was enough to arrest her. During trial, Lillian sat stone-faced as prosecutors painted her as a manipulative, lovesick nurse who killed a man who no longer wanted her. They didn't understand the years of abuse she'd endured. They didn't see the bruises under her sleeve. They didn't hear Malik's whispered threats. They didn't know about the baby she'd already lost. Not Malik's child, but the one she lost during her marriage, the one she kept hidden in her heart like a private grave. None of it mattered in court. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Lillian was convicted of second-degree murder. Her sentence, 38 years. She gave birth in shackles 4 months later. The infant cried only once before being taken away by social services. Lillian never saw her child again. In prison, rumors spread about what really happened between her and Malik. Some inmates admired her for taking out a high-ranking shot caller. Others whispered that Malik had been planning something bigger, something that died with him. And now, whenever guards walk past Lillian's cell on a night shift, they swear they hear her humming lullabies to a baby that isn't there, her voice echoing to the cold hallway like a warning, like a memory, like a curse. Because while Malik Hinton is gone, one question still haunts the case. If Lillian killed and protected her child, who is protecting the child now?